This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from southeast Oklahoma, USA, to parts unknown.
The new Be Prepared for Christmas package from Sun Ovens contains everything you need to harness the power of the sun for cooking, water, and dehydrating. The perfect gift for the preppers or outdoor enthusiast on your shopping list. A sun oven uses the sun's power to bake, boil, or steam food, heat water for purification or personal hygiene, or solar dehydrate. When you use the sun's power on sunny days, you preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods retain moisture, have less shrinkage, and do not burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. The new Be Prepared for Christmas package lets you roast an 18-pound turkey. For the past 26 years, Sun Ovens has been proudly made in the U.S., are durable, and have a long life and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't be fooled by cheap imitations. For a discount coupon, visit sunoven.com/podcast. That's sunoven.com/podcast.
Have you ever wanted to generate your own supply of electrical power, even save money on your electric bill? If so, this is going to be the most important message you will ever hear. Solar power generators are now available. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical power when you need it most. Unlike gas generators, a solar generator runs quietly, emits no fumes, and produces electricity from the sun. It's like having an electric power plant running quietly in your own home. Runs sump pumps, shortwave radios, computers, and even keep your food from spoiling. Whether it's hurricanes, ice storms, brownouts, or blackouts, you'll never suffer through painful power outages again. And here's the best news. A remarkable fall truckload sale going on right now that gets you $1,700 in bonuses when you buy a solar generator. To find out why solar generators are the best generators and get $1,700 for doing so, go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com. Generate your own supply of electricity. Go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com.
Feeling like there are too many pressures and demands on you? Losing sleep worrying about tests and schoolwork? Eating on the run because your schedule is just too busy? You may be under too much stress, and it may be affecting your mind. Get your mental edge back with Nootropic Mind Power from mindregard.com. Nootropic Mind Power is not a drug, but a natural supplement. Its 12 powerful ingredients are natural and non-GMO, plus it's gluten-free, wheat-free, and formulated by Americans for Americans by an NSF-certified laboratory. Nootropic Mind Power is available at mindregard.com, spelled MINDREGARD.com, and comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. Free your mind with Nootropic Mind Power Cognitive Supplement from mindregard.com. MindRegard. Clearly see tomorrow and yesterday. Today.
For starters, this is not Barack Obama. The Prepper Podcast Radio Network has started a drawing for a high-point 45 caliber handgun provided to them by MKS Supply. Now, I have the power to take that gun away from you because the United Nations has given me that power. I don't need Congress, and I don't need the Constitution. All I need is a reason to take away your weapons. So, if you're feeling lucky, go to prepperpodcast.com. That's PREPPERPODCAST, prepperpodcast.com to see the rules, terms and conditions, and to enter the drawing. When I take away your guns, your Bibles might be next. Again, this is not Barack Obama.
The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network.
I agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, it would have been time a long time ago to eliminate it.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
that is Zero Hope. I'm not talking about the theme of the show or the direction that our country is taking. The intro is by a group called Zero Hope. O's for zeros, if you want to look them up. Again, that's O's for zeros, spelled out Zero Hope. You can check them out on Facebook.com/Zero Hope. This is I Am Liberty. Welcome in. So, we're tucking into the holiday here. Comfy, cozy. This is the time of year I like to call the blind spot or the blind side, when we all spend copious amounts of money that either we don't have or should be putting towards something better, and we just, light up the lights, close our eyes, and try to not think about reality. Is there anything wrong with that? Not really. I mean, I oftentimes believe that sometimes you do just need to get away, both mentally and physically, from the things that ail you, So, I was under a bit of scrutiny the other day. I often, my wife, she'll jest at me because of my young age and the fact that I am beginning to gray. Not noticeably, but there are filaments of gray hair in my head, and I would be lying if I said I was without vanity. That could be an understatement. Anyhow, so, it was brought to my attention by a fellow at work as well the other day, and it got me thinking, I was looking at news and headlines, and I started to go over things in my head, and, it brought me to a realization that we really all should be going nearly bald. Okay, and to make an example of this, all you have to do is open your damn eyes. I am surprised that my whole head isn't gray. I'm sitting atop a hill right now in life, looking down at a world that I don't even recognize coming in 2013. One that will almost guaranteed to be just sucking me dry of money that I earn with taxes that are coming. Both federal and state now. I'm not, we've got, the Middle East is on fire. It has been since I've been in high school, damn near. Well, it has been since the beginning of time, but I mean, more so than usual. There's this new and incredible movement, quote unquote, taking root, which is really just evil behind a mask that the folks just put into power because it was something neat to type on their smartphone. I got, what else? Test rockets from tons of countries flying through the air, right? What are we testing for? All these countries becoming nuclear capable, and they wonder why there's balding and gray in my hair, right? Well, I'm not balding yet, thankfully, but they wonder why there's streaks of gray in my head, right? Now, I may be balding because if Jeffrey Immelt comes out and says something any more ridiculous than, let me give you the exact quote. State-run communism may not be your cup of tea, but their government works, says Jeffrey Immelt. Okay, that's good. That's great. Run that one, what's it say? State-run communism may not be your cup of tea, but their government works.
I'm going to rip all my hair.
Run that by the guys making $1.50 a year, living in caves, pissing in a latrine shared by everybody else in the cave who work and sleep and 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 I think we get to eat today and work and sleep. Come on, man. Communism works. This is coming from the chairman. The chairman of President Barack Obama's Council on Jobs and Competitiveness. Of course, the CEO of GE. right? Because I'm sure he knows what goes on over there in the slums of China, right? Jeffrey Immelt hanging out, eating some noodles, hanging out with the working men of China and fitting right in. I could see that, right? He can just relate to that sector of the population so well that why not make an assumption like that, right? What's next? He's going to tell me my government works. My government does work. My government works great at taking my money. That's what they work at, and then they're phenomenal at it. This from a article from my man Mike over at the economiccollapseblog.com. Okay, he listed about 44 taxes that at least some average Americans are paying now or will be paying sooner. Some federal, some state, some local, some income, all that business. So you wonder why I'm graying in the head, okay? Building permit taxes, capital gains taxes, cigarette taxes, court fines, dog license taxes, driver's license fees, which is basically another form of taxation, federal unemployment taxes, fishing license taxes, food license taxes, gasoline, gift taxes, hunting, inheritance, inventory taxes, IRS interest charges, it's really just tax on top of tax, liquor taxes, luxury taxes, marriage license taxes, Medicare surcharge on high-earning Americans under Obamacare. You can expect that. Then these two beauties, we've got the Obamacare individual mandate tax. And the way he breaks this down is if you don't buy qualifying health insurance under Obamacare, you'll have to pay an additional tax. That'll be your Obamacare individual mandate excise tax. You've got the Obamacare surtax on investment income, property taxes, wrecked vehicle taxes, toll booth taxes, sales taxes, self-employment taxes. Self-employment taxes might be my favorite. School taxes, septic permit taxes, self-employment taxes. That's just so great to me. Anyhow. So septic permit taxes, service charge taxes, Social Security taxes, state unemployment taxes, tanning tax. You might not have heard this one, but this is just one tiny little peek into what's coming. This is a new Obamacare tax on tanning services. So who do you think's going to, if he's taxing a tanning service directly, who do you think that's going to hurt? Right? How come they make decisions for me? I'm a pale, Irish, pasty, freckled man. Okay? I wouldn't even fathom going into a tanning booth. I don't even like to sit out in the sun unless I was a fishing rod in my hand. But, the fact that I have to pay more for a tanning bed usage because someone on Capitol Hill thinks that it's not the right thing to do and it's bad for your body. And I have to pay more money for it now. Is that great or what? But, this is the thing that kills me behind the taxes and the tanning tax and all the, these taxes to keep you from doing the things that they think is wrong, right? And harmful to your health. Are they wrong? And if they're so wrong, shouldn't they be made illegal? No, that's not smart. Make it illegal and no one makes money. We'll tax it. That way, if you want to do it, you have to pay for it. If you have the money to pay for it, well, then it's not bad. Is it bad or is it not bad? This is the whole cap and trade mess. My dad broke this down for me. Is polluting the air bad? Of course it is. But if I have enough money to pay to pollute the air, does that make it not bad anymore? You're going to see a lot of these tanning taxes. You're going to see a Big Mac tax. You're going to see a speeding tax. You're going to see anything that can affect that health care. You're going to see it taxed. If you can afford to do it, well, that's fine. But we're going to tax you for it. We're not going to make it illegal because nobody makes money off it illegal. Well, nobody in the government. No, that's probably not entirely true either. I'm sure they make plenty of illegal money. Really, this whole taxing thing should be illegal. But anyhow, I'm not through yet with this wonderful list. Telephone federal excise taxes. We got telephone federal universal service fee taxes. Telephone minimum usage surcharge taxes. Telephone state and local taxes. Fire taxes. Tolls, traffic fines. You're going the same place. Utility taxes. Vehicle registration taxes. Workers' compensation taxes. And one of my favorites, which I didn't see on here, and that's personal property taxes. Oh, here it is, property taxes. I missed it. But, so, with all that money, not to say that you're going to pay every tax, but, you know, with those taxes, you've got the Middle East on fire. You've got people high-ranking in our government coming out and praising the communists. You've got North Korea still test-firing rockets to reach wherever the hell they really want. No one's giving them any grief about it. And these are just things, you know, I mean, I think I feel a gray sprouting right now. This isn't even beginning to touch the picture of what's going on behind the scenes. This is just the magic on the front page. And you wonder why my hair is turning gray. Huh? You must be a moron if you don't have a single gray hair in your head. You have to be a dunce to not look around at this world and understand. I mean, if you don't have a horse in the race, I can understand walking around with your head in the clouds. But God damn it, if you have two working eyes, a pair of ears, there's no reason you shouldn't be making yourself bald on a daily basis. Just pulling the hair out. You know? What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we leading this country because we decided that I'd rather have someone else do the work for me, or I'd rather have the government provide it for me? We're hurting ourselves. It's so funny to me. You see it, and I know it's human nature. And I know it's human nature, and I understand that it's unpoliced human nature. I don't like control any more than the next guy. But things have to be reined in. The human mind doesn't have the ability to handle freedom complete. Okay? If it was up to us, we'd have fished the oceans completely dead, worse off than they are. You know what I mean? We would have pulled everything out of the earth that's useful and destroyed it. Face it. That's what we do. We turn profits, we consume, and without any kind of hold on that, or any kind of policing of that behavior, that's what you wind up with. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up and where I'm going with it is, it's human nature. You see it everywhere. I see it every day on a large scale, but I want to break down a smaller sector of this human behavior, this me human behavior. I want satisfaction now. I want the most for my money, or whatever it is. I want to talk football for a second. I'm looking at these guys, these players, who are pushing for player safety constantly, right? In a game where you can have nothing appearing to be player safety. I mean, let's be honest. You have 300-pound men rocking themselves at each other play after play. You have incredibly ripped athletes working at the levels that we can't even imagine to get strong and faster than anything you can ever imagine, and plowing into each other at full speed. But we're worried about player safety, right? We're worried about the players. The players are our main concern, right? Player safety. This is what the players union is all about, right? So, Roger Goodell wants to put even stricter rules onto the kickoff. You know, he essentially wants to do away with the kickoff game altogether. Give the teams an option to start at a certain yard line, or to maybe do a punt, attempt a punt after a score, if that is the case, which to me just sounds like, doing away with the kickoff slowly but surely. You know, because people are coming at you full speed. The kickoff's a dangerous thing. This isn't a surprise to anyone. You know, you play football your whole life. You know what the hell's going on. So, what I want to know is, what happens to the player? If we're so concerned about the players and player safety, what happens to the players that work special teams then? Where do they go? If your whole job is to run up and down the field and tackle guys and block for guys on the kickoff, and in the name of player safety, they remove that position altogether, what happens to your job? Your job is gone. Am I right? This mindset, this crazy idea that we're doing the right thing for those who need the help. We're killing ourselves every day with this crazy mindset we're living on right now. This give me free healthcare mindset for nothing. When are we going to learn as a society that nothing comes free? When are we going to figure this one out? When are we going to understand that these taxes are going to affect people and affect jobs, and they're going to cause full-time employees to become part-time employees? They're going to cause... The funny thing about it is, I talked to a man who does this for a living, right? This is what he does. He's finding ways to get as many employees off of that 40-hour full-time work week before the year ends. And this is what he does every day at his job. This is what he's responsible for. This is what he has to do. And the brilliance behind this whole idea is that it will appear in the broad job numbers that we're rebounding, because it's now going to take two people to do one position, so we're going to have to hire people. Now, they're not going to make a great wage, they're not going to make a livable wage in most cases, but there'll be more people working. Unemployment numbers will be down. Why am I not grayer? More gray? Whatever. Tell me. Why aren't you gray? Got the nerve to talk about gray hair in a country like this. In a time and place like this. In a world that's so blind as this one. But the thing that makes me most gray, and I'm going to move on from this. I know this is not really my character, and I'm kind of 20 minutes in on a bitch session right now, but the thing that makes me most gray, and if you're a father or a mother out there, it makes me frustrated, it makes me cry. It's when I look at my little boy and he loves his dad so much. He thinks that his dad is the greatest thing in the world. He can't imagine anything hurting him when he's with his dad. He can't imagine anything bad in this world when he's with his dad. And I think one day, when that little boy grows up, he's going to look at his dad and he's going to think, what a bum, what a failure this man is for letting my country turn into this. The things that he will see, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how to fix it. And it's my collective generation, along with generations prior, that have put this on us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what kills me, to look at that little boy who's full of potential and to think that a world where he could excel might not even exist when the time comes, or to think that he'll look back at me and think a fool of me. That he will think a fool of me for not storming the Capitol building and telling these crooks that we deserve better. And that's what turns me gray. That's what turns me gray, and that's what should turn you gray as well. So let's do better for our kids, damn it. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to begin. I've marched. I've stood up against problems, and tonight I don't have the answers. That's what it is. Tonight I am out of answers. That's all. There is no more. There's nothing else. Tonight I'm overwhelmed. Tomorrow I'll be fine, but tonight I'm overwhelmed. And that's because I don't know how to fix it. I'm the fixer. At my job, my home, I can fix things. I'm good at it. This country, there's so many people working against me, I don't even know where to begin. But let's get off this topic for a little while. It's goddamn the holidays, right? Let's put our blinders up and enjoy the holidays, right? I'm sure they'll pass some kind of crazy-ass law where they're allowed to come videotape what goes on in your household while we're all unwrapping our gifts. But I want to talk for a second before we bring our guest on today. We're going to have my man Chris West on to talk gun maintenance. Being that it's around the holiday time and you might have gotten a gun for Christmas or maybe getting a gun for Christmas or whatever the situation may be, let's figure out the best way to take care of this machine, okay? Because what good is it if you get it, shoot it once, throw it in a case, and leave it under your bed for the next 5 years, right? Or if you take it out and shoot it and never clean it. Or if you don't know how to take it apart and clean it. These are problems. These are things we need to know about, and I'm sure Chris will have a lot of different nuances and things on gun care that I don't have any idea about. This is the reason I bring these people on. I told you. I'm a newbie here. I'm learning as much as you are, and that's why I do this show. It's not about making money. It's about learning and getting ready for the future, teaching my boys some things, So, but anyhow, I want to talk about giving someone the greatest gift you can give them this holiday season. That being the gift of awareness. I want to go over quickly some steps to making a prepper, to making a person. I want to get rid of this word prepper sometimes. I say it. I know I'm on a radio station called the Prepper Podcast, but I feel like they're raping our word here, guys. I feel like they're killing it. This doomsday prepper shit is killing it. You know what I mean? I've got people, it's getting a stigma about it. I think we need a new word. I really do. But anyhow, that's beside this point. So, how to take your average Joe, fold him up, unfold him, clip him a little bit, and have him become someone who understands the world around him. Well, not so much understands the world around him, because I know a lot of people who are aware of the situations in our world who don't do shit to get ready for it. And I don't know what's worse, to be honest. Not knowing or knowing and doing nothing. And just with open arms inviting the trauma to your life, you know what I mean? So, one of the things, and the most easiest ways you can get someone involved in this whole idea of awareness is just And this is an incredible time in our history, because really all you have to do is talk news. Talk the news. You don't know how many articles I read a week and go, this was in the Daily Times, this was in the New York, what the Washington Post? The news is there. The bomb tests, the quotes, the crooked politics, it's all there in your face. The economy. Talk news, you know? Talk news with the people at your job, talk news with the people around you. Stop talking about dancing with the whores and talk news. This is what people used to do, you know. They used to talk news way back. I mean, that's what the speakeasy was all about. That's what the pubs were all about. That's what the whole movement that started the revolution in our country was, dudes getting together, talking news, man. They were, you know, the goddamn limeys are taxing us to death. And, you know, what else you got? Has anything changed? So talk news. Stop talking bullshit, you know? You can do that with anybody. That's the thing. You know, you don't have to talk Republican, Democrat. You don't have to talk liberal, conservative. You don't have to talk any of those little, you know, insert description here shit. Just talk the news. Until you build a relationship, you know, to where you can go, can you believe this, man? Can you look at this. Look at this. Can you, huh? Look at this tax. Look at this. Talk the news. Once you get that relationship established, you know, and you have that person targeted, you're talking news on a daily basis, that's when you slide in the common sense. Talk in some common sense now. And start to blend that news in with their everyday life. You know? For instance, give these crazy taxes a number, a dollar amount, something that's going to affect a man's mind, and say, man, can you imagine what this is going to do to my salary? To what I'm bringing home? I mean, I'm struggling to pay these damn student loans as is. Can you imagine what this is going to do to my life? You know? Talk taxes. Talk common sense. You know? Why are we letting known enemies fire rockets off, preparing to crush? I mean, if North Korea is firing ballistic missiles, I just can't get behind it. I'm sorry. I understand that America's this big bully who polices the world, and they shouldn't. They should worry about what's going on at their house. But we got allies in this world, and South Korea is one of them. And I don't understand why we would let their enemy up north start shooting rockets off, you know? That doesn't make sense to me. You know, are they our allies, or do we just say they're our allies? And what is an ally? What does that constitute? You know? You look at these things and just think common sense, these news stories, and that's it. Now, the next step is where you have to really walk the thin line, okay? The next two, really. Once you get the news, once you get the common sense, once you see that they're building a base and that third eye is starting to open a little bit and they're starting to see things and they're starting to come to you with things, that's when you talk what ifs. Not crazy what ifs, but what ifs. Like, what if China gets enough gold to back their money and the world drops the dollar? Are you ready for that? Am I ready for that? What could happen? Let's talk about what could happen. You know? And just have a conversation on a what if. Don't hit them with what if the whole world goes into nuclear war tomorrow. Hit them with a feasible, commonsensical what if. you know? Walk the thin line between reality and reality, if you get what I'm saying. You know, walk the thin line between the reality that you see and the reality of what's really going on around you. You know, there's a reality that we see and there's a reality that we choose not to see. A lot of what people don't want to admit is the things that they don't want to believe. They don't have the time to believe these things. That's the majority of our problem. You know, we work so goddamn much. We try to have some time with our kids and our wife, and we just don't have time to worry about the shit. Walk the thin line between reality and reality without scaring your recruit off. Listen to me, recruit, Jesus God. He'll be knocking on my door any second. But, you know, so talk the news. That's the easy part. Talk the common sense. That'd just be your personality, you know? Well, why would they do something like that? Talk the what ifs. The feasible what ifs. The what ifs Superstorm Sandy hit you. Or whatever. You know, then walk the thin reality and begin to show them what reality really is. Tell them that they need to make time to find this stuff out. Tell them they need to listen to I Am Liberty to know this stuff. Once you develop the relationship with them where you guys are talking reality, and I know a lot of people, you're going to disagree here with this next step, but I think we need to stop being afraid. We really do. You know, so much of what we do as a group of people, as a sector of this belief system or whatever you want to call it, so much of it is about secrecy. You know, it's about, I don't want anyone to know I have this, or I don't want to know how much of this I have, I don't know this, that, the other. I think our next step has to be to come out in the open. You know, one of the big things is we have a stigma about ourselves because of the fact that we do all this hidden stuff, all this behind closed doors storage. Let them know something about your storage. You know? Because let's be honest, what's the greatest fear, right? The greatest two fears are, A, the government's going to come take it. Now I want to go into that because this is what I want you to know about the government's going to come take it. I was talking to my mother-in-law. I got, like I said last episode, I got my CCL. Happy about that. She's got hers. She's scared to go register to get the actual thing notated by the court system. She says, you know, well, I don't want them to know I have it. I don't want them to come take it. Here's the thing about the government coming to your house and taking. That's the day you have to die. I know that sounds crazy, but look, if the government comes knocking at my house, wants my guns, wants my food, water, whatever they want, that's the day I die. Because I can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. You can't be afraid to have that happen, because that's just as bad as letting it happen, in my eyes. You're just appeasing them so that they don't do these scary things, right? I'll just hide it. We got to be open about it. The best thing about being open about it is it gets people up there on Capitol Hill shaky. Oh man, these guys got guns, they got food, they got blah, 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 blah. You can't come take it. We need to have them in a situation where they know they can't come take it, where if they pull into your community with an army to come take guns, that they're worried about getting out of that town alive. That's what the Second Amendment's all about. So A, you're scared about the government knowing about this stuff, forget about it. Or you're working against the whole idea here. B, you're worried about other people knowing because in the event of a disaster, they're going to come to your house first and try to rob you, right? That's the second reason why nobody wants to let anybody know that they've got a pantry full of canned goods and all this business, right? In the event of a real disaster, they're going to go door to door anyway. What are we doing this for? We're doing this to be prepared for a disaster, to be able to secure our home, right? So, and like I said, I know a lot of you guys are going to be against this, but this is just what I believe. You got to be able to protect your stuff. So let them know, hey, this might be kind of nuts. I don't know what you think about it, but I started keeping a little extra food around the house, man. I got one of them water barrels. I put it out, in my backyard, hooked it up to it's 55 gallons. If something ever goes wrong, fill up the old bathtub. I got the water barrel out back. I mean, it can't hurt, right? Tell them a little something, Dude, great deal on ammo. Bought like 50 rounds for $20, $30, something like that. Stuff's on sale. It's good quality stuff. Hollow point. Just give them a little peek and let them know, because I can tell you this much, they're thinking about it. If you're a man and you have a family and you realize what's going on in this world, you're thinking about it. And what's the best thing to hear when you're thinking about something you're kind of on the fence of? One of your buddies come up to you and saying, you know what? I've been thinking about that too, and I did this. Let them know. A little something. I'm not telling you bring the blue pants to your shelter that's buried underground out in your backyard. Tell them a little something. Let them feel at ease about what they're thinking about, because guess what? They're thinking about it. The final step, don't discriminate, man. Don't discriminate. Republican, Democrat, the homesteading movement and the prepping movement is going to collide. I'm telling you, it's a liberal and conservative movement, and it's coming. It's going to collide. So, don't discriminate, man. If you think this guy is a Barack Obama voting, love the earth, sort of eco-maniac, whatever type of facade you think they're holding, just talk news, talk common sense, talk what ifs. Give them a peek of reality. If they come to you, let them know a little something about what you store. And the job's done then. That's when you bring in the Emergency Essentials magazine and say, look, baby, boom, get to work. Do something for your family, But we got to get to this interview, man. I'm burning this whole show up here. So we're going to bring Chris West on here in just a moment. And we're going to talk gun maintenance for the remaining 20 minutes of the show. We might go a little over. I'm not too worried about it, because this is Golden Radio, baby. Well, here he is. We got Chris West with us, guys. Chris, how you doing?
Real good, man. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. So we brought you on tonight, hoping that our listeners got some cool new toys left under the tree. And by toys, we mean, the firearm type. So we wanted to see if you could lay some knowledge on us about, caring for their new weapon. I think a lot of people get a cool new gun, take it to the range a couple times and box it up and put it under their bed for 6 months if they're anything like me. So if you want to maybe give us, of course every gun's going to be different, but maybe some general cleaning tips to start or something like that.
Yeah, sure thing, man. There's, first off, I'll preface by saying I'm not a gun professional, gunsmith, or anything like that. So most of what I'll talk about is sort of stuff that I do or would do, for my own equipment. And since we're talking about people's gifts, possibly, I'm going to assume that maybe most of the firearms are new, because there's things you don't have to necessarily worry about if they're new versus if they've been used, or if they're surplus military weapons or something. So, assuming they're new, let's just say they have a new handgun, like a new Glock or something like that. a lot of new handguns and probably other long guns come with like pre-applied like lubrication inside, like in the slide of the Glock, for instance, along the rails where the slide meets the guides on the body of the handle, the body of the gun. A lot of times there's a little bit of it looks almost like a liquid, like graphite type of lubricant in there, and I didn't realize it at the time when I had mine, that you're not really supposed to leave that in there. You're actually supposed to clean that out. It's just sort of like a preservative type of deal. So yeah, so what you want to do really is kind of take your gun apart, and first off, you should learn how your gun works. And every gun comes with a manual, and I highly recommend you page through the manual. Maybe look at the exploded view of your firearm. Now, you don't have to break it down to those levels, but just have a general understanding of how it comes apart before anything, because then that'll also tell you the areas to pay attention to clean or to maintain, or general like wear and tear areas inside. You'll start to notice those as you shoot more often. But yeah, when you take your gun apart, you want to look around for any of that kind of not adhesive, I keep wanting to say adhesive, lubricant inside there. You want to clean that out. Now, you don't want to use the soap and water necessarily. That works for the old black powder stuff, from the 18th century. But you want some decent gun cleaner, and really, there's not a whole lot you can go wrong with. Like you can go to even just Walmart or something, and they have cleaners that'll do the job, fairly well. I can tell you one brand that I've found that works the best overall, in my opinion, is called Hops, Hoppes 9, Hops 9. It's just a solvent that you can dip your brush and whatever in, and you can scrub your bore down or the inside parts. So I'd recommend something like that to clean with.
So for say someone who's getting their first gun, would you say it's about as necessary as it gets to get some of those brushes also for the caliber weapon they have?
Yeah, most definitely. You want and you'll look around there just in like the gun cleaning section of like Walmart or any gun store. They'll have the brushes right there, and they'll have right on the box, what a 40 caliber 9mm or 20 gauge shotgun, something like that. You want to get, I would say, a wire brush, a little spiral wire brush and the bristles were either like plastic, and a lot of times they're actually copper, little copper bristles. You want at least one of those, for every gun, every caliber that you have. I would recommend. Also, then they have brushes that are sort of like a big not foam, but a big kind of cotton pad, basically. Honestly, I would stay away from those because they tend to build up, all old solvent and old dirt that comes out of your gun, and you're basically, the more you use that, the more you're kind of like pushing that old dirt back in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, a good gun, like a good bore cleaner, like gun solvent, a wire brush, and then a little kind of a swab holder that you kind of put in. You can put in cotton swabs, and you can buy packs of those right there with the stuff too. I would recommend getting a pack or two of those swabs, and sometimes you might have to cut them down to fit in the bore, depending on what caliber you're using. Those 3 bare essentials, I would say, for cleaning.
That's how often do you want to clean a weapon? Is there say you don't hit I guess the rule of thumb that I go by is basically after every time I shoot it, but I don't know if should you hit it more than that? Let's say you don't shoot very much, or if someone gets to shoot maybe once or twice a year, should they hit that gun more than when they're just shooting it, or what do you say for that?
Yeah, you really want, I definitely recommend shooting it after. Not shooting it. I'm all over tonight. Sorry about that.
No big deal. That's fine. It's been a long day for me too.
Yeah. I definitely recommend cleaning it after you shoot it, and even if it's one round, I still would clean it. But you're getting that from a guy that's pretty anal about firearms. I like to keep them spick and span and well maintained. It's just like anything else. The more well maintained you keep something, the better it's going to function for you, especially when you need it. So. Yeah, after every cleaning, but if you clean it and you don't shoot it for a year and it's just sitting in a safe or in a relatively clean area, there's no like dirt flying through the wind or exposed to salt water or like really moisturized air with or whatever, like the elements. As long as you keep it away from the elements, you shouldn't have to clean it again until you shoot it again.
Now, you mentioned it's something that I'm actually looking into now, that I have a little one running around the house, and that's a gun safe. I see a ton of different types of gun safes. I get recommendations from different people about different types of gun safes. And what do you recommend, Chris? What is your favorite type? What do you got at your house?
Well, I was actually lucky enough to inherit a very nice safe. Refrigerator-sized safe from my dad. Now those run, easily $1,000 or close to it, or up to $2,000 or $3,000 or more if you want to get fancy. So assume if you can't afford something like that, I would look into at least a lock box. It's usually like a steel box that comes with a key. I have one, and that's mainly for like handguns and small things like that. That would be like a bare minimum. The one I have has like a 4-sided key, and each side has its own sort of like grooves, so its own combination. So it's very hard, if not impossible, to pick that lock. I would recommend something like that at the bare minimum. I'm not really a big fan of like the fire safes that you would, like the suitcase type fire safes you get like for papers. I wouldn't necessarily use that for a gun safe. So just any size safe that's either like a lockbox type or a safe that has, the bars that slide out and go into the walls of the safe door or the frame of the door. The more of those locking bolts that come out, the better. A lot of safes nowadays are made with they're electronic combinations. So you punch in the numbers and it opens that way. Personally, I'm not a big fan of those. I won't have anything else. I won't buy a safe that has like an actual mechanical like spinning combination lock because I just see too many things going wrong with that with the electronic deal. Batteries running out or something something mechanically or electronically going wrong.
That is a good point.
So
I've been looking at those. I was actually recommended one by the guy when I went to take my CCL test about the one that's got the braille and the fingers on it, and you do kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4 combination or whatever the hell you want to make it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about the electronics failing. That's a great point.
Yeah, and those point. I know those safes you're talking about, and those are pretty neat. Those are designed for like you can quickly get into them because the doors actually spring open too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, those are nice for like quick and grab and go. But personally, that wouldn't be. If you get one of those, that's fine. But that wouldn't be the only one I would have in the house if I were you. So.
Yeah, that's definitely got me thinking about the electronics end.
Yeah. The harder to get into, the harder it is for anybody else to try and get into. So.
Yeah, I feel like if a break-in ever did happen in your home. Or a situation like that, you kind of be dealing with, in most cases, you'd be dealing with someone who's staying downstairs, probably trying to find your car keys, take your television, that sort of thing. So, one thing that I bought a gun out of fear years ago, basically, because our first apartment was in probably the worst part of Wilmington, Delaware that exists, and I didn't have any kind of weapon. And I was kind of naive to that, and that's funny. That's saying a lot growing up in Philadelphia. But so I got a gun for that reason, and I, for many years of my life, I really had that fear in the back of my mind of my bedroom door being kicked down and someone pointing guns at the bed. And it took me a while to realize that, there's really not much in the bedroom that anyone would really want that they couldn't get from the downstairs. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So I think the whole idea on that spring out door and then those safes that are, touch and go, if you will, is kind of feeding on that same kind of mindset, that fear that you're going to wake up with guns pointed at you, which is really highly unlikely.
Sure, and if you're actually worried about that, I wouldn't have a gun in a safe to begin with, no matter what kind it was, because if you're worried about that, or you think there's a high probability of someone coming in your bedroom like that, you're going to have just milliseconds to react, and there's no way you can get a safe open, even those push button safes. You're not that fast.
No way.
So just forego the safe at that point if that's what you're worried about. I would say.
I just wanted to put that out there to the listeners, because I'm sure there's another guy like me out there listening who has that same fear. You know what I mean? Shut the bedroom door, and you're afraid that you're going to wake up and there's going to be guys standing over top of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know. I understand. I've been there myself, so I understand how that goes.
When in actuality, really, it's you're going to hear them rustling downstairs, looking for other things like that, because in most cases, a person breaking in really doesn't probably even want to see you or deal with you. You know what I mean? Right.
That's true, and hopefully that really is the case. You just never know.
No, you never know, and that is a good point. Also, you never know. Are most of us who are either married or in a relationship are sleeping next to something very valuable as well. So we had to be ready to protect that too. So
absolutely, man.
And
absolutely,
no one's afraid to break in after that either. So
yeah.
But what would you say for, I guess, general care of the weapon? Maybe not so much the cleaning aspect, but for instance, I know there's guys who keep guns in their cars, guns under their beds. Do you prefer a spot for it, or is a standard safe just the place for your gun? Is that where it should be?
Well, that all kind of depends, I suppose. It depends on who's in the house, who's in there regularly. I mean, can you trust everybody to not mess with things? Are people going to go snooping and just maybe not for malicious reasons, but just because they're curious? Do you have little kids around? And then also, what kind of gun do you have? How many? What do you want to do with it? What's the whole point of it? Like if you have hunting rifles and shotguns, I would keep those in a safe, because you're probably not going to use those very often unless you're going hunting. But if you have a defensive shotgun or pistol, you're probably not going to keep that in the safe very often, because you're going to have that at the ready to go at any time. So, if assuming it's like a handgun like that you're keeping for home defense, personal defense, because that's probably what majority of people like to do. Make sure it's in at least like a drawer that you only know where it is, maybe at the bottom of your sock drawer. They actually make retention holsters that instead of having a belt clip, there's a mount, and you can actually mount it to your bed frame. So you can actually click your gun down into the holster, and it's secured in there until you push a button or pull the snap lock off, and it's like your bed frame's literally wearing the holster for you, so you can have it right below your pillow there and reach down and grab it, and you're good to go.
I like that.
That's kind of a cool option. That's just an idea there. But especially if you have little kids around, like little kids wandering around, I think that would be your biggest threat, is for them to find it and get hurt or worse. So I would say pay extra attention to where you hide something and how you secure it, because you really should secure it somehow. I wouldn't give them any room to stumble on it and start fiddling around when you don't know about it. You know what I mean?
No, most definitely. So on the, I guess on the other spectrum of that, or the other end of that spectrum, I've fired, weapons, and I've never actually had a gun jam on me. What kind of abuse does a gun have to go through to jam on you, or is that something that can just happen from not doing what we're talking about doing?
Well, that's another question there. There's a whole slew of things that can jam a gun. Anything from faulty ammunition or ammunition that's reloaded but not reloaded properly. Let's just say we're using factory ammunition, which, shouldn't fail in theory, but I've had it fail on me. Let's just say you have a really popular type weapon, the semi-auto pistol. I keep coming back to that type, but most people probably have it. Probably the most likely jam you would have in that is what they call stovepiping, and that's when you fire a round off, but maybe you're a little limp in the wrist, like you're not holding your wrist tight enough to absorb that recoil. So what happens is when the gun fires, that slide comes back, and and your hand goes with the recoil too much, and then the slide doesn't have enough force to actually cycle properly. So it'll only come out so far, and not be like a full cycle going back and then forward again, and it won't eject your spent shell the right way. So it'll come out and just get out halfway, and it actually looks like an old stovepipe sticking out, like what an old stovepipe from an old stove looks like. It looks like that sticking out of your ejector there. And that's where the term comes from.
And then you just have to pull back manually to get it out, or?
Right, yeah, you just want to pull that thing back the rest of the way. It'll pop that thing out, and then just let it go, and the slide will go back into battery, and push another round in, and you're good to go again. That's probably the likely scenario. Now, I have had, like if you're a revolver owner, I have had a factory load fire, and I think there was something wrong with it. It must have been loaded slightly too hot from the factory, because it wasn't a reload, as far as I know anyway, and it actually it ballooned out. The brass ballooned out.
Oh wow!
In the cylinder, and it wouldn't allow it to the cylinder to turn, and I actually had to force it out of there once I finally got the cylinder open. So stuff like that can happen, and if that's the case, that's when a secondary backup weapon comes in handy when you're actually getting shot at.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, that pretty much covers at least a baseline of what you need to do with your weapon. Do you agree with that, Chris? Of course, there's levels we can go into, gun specific and things like that. But as a general rule, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, we got a pretty good introduction, I would say, into it. We've covered that. The only thing I would add, if we have time and if you want to, is just sort of a general step-by-step order of doing things when it comes to actually cleaning the gun, because there's certain steps that I think are better to take in one particular order than just any order that you feel like.
For sure, lay it on us. That sounds pretty important to me.
Sure, okay. I'll try and make it quick.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, basically, like we were talking about those brushes earlier, when you go to sit down and clean your weapon, first off, before I even go there, you got to make sure that your gun is unloaded. And it sounds ridiculous, like you would already know that, but it's very surprising how many people don't know their gun's unloaded yet, and they end up shooting a round off and either injuring themselves or somebody else. So make sure your gun is unloaded, and however your gun is, you should know how that works, and make sure you do. Make sure it's unloaded first. So, assuming it's unloaded, then disassemble it. Take your barrel out, the magazine off, the slide off, whatever. Take your bore, and sometimes they're in spray cans, or they could be just in a bottle that you dip the brush in. Use your copper brush first, and dip it in your solution, your solvent, and swab it in your barrel a couple times. Maybe do that twice. Swab it a little bit, dip it one more time, swab it again. That's going to loosen up the metal fouling and things in the grooves and the rifling of your bore of your barrel. Then take your brush off, put on your little cotton holder, and put a couple cotton swabs in your bore cleaner and swab that in and out. And the first time you do that, it should come out black because it's just there's all kinds of dirt in there from your ammunition, right? you want to repeat that with your cotton swabs until it comes out basically white when you're done, and that's how you're going to know that you're clean. Your bore is clean inside. So then, when you're done with that, take a dry cotton swab and run it through just to kind of soak up any residual bore cleaner in there. And then at that point, you're pretty much done with your barrel, the inside of your barrel. And then take another cup, dip it in your solvent, and kind of rub down all the parts, the inside of your slide, the inside of your cylinder, the inside of, or the outside of your barrel, in this case, and get off any of the residual gun oil that was on there before, because now all that gun oil is dirty since you shot it. Just wipe down all the surfaces that any dust would have gotten inside there as best you can. Once that, you can just take some oil. You can just buy stuff called gun oil, or like Rem oil, REM. That's like a brand name, Rem oil. You can just take that, put it on another new cotton swab, and kind of rub down all the areas that metal contacts other metal. So like the inside of your slide where it slides on the grooves that are on your like the body of the handgun, for instance. You'll probably little wear marks where the inside of your barrel is rubbing against the slide. You want to oil that up. Just do a quick lubing of those areas primarily, and then at that point you can pretty much put your gun back together. And then as a general rule, I would just kind of rub the outside down a bit with kind of a little bit of your solvent, just to get any dust that might be on the outside of your gun. Just rub that down, and then you might rub down the outside in addition with a light dusting of your gun oil, just to sort of protect the surfaces.
I imagine that keeps it from rusting and things like that.
Exactly right, yep. So I can explain how to clean a gun. So,
well, that's good, man. I mean, a step-by-step is important. I think a lot of people know a little bit about the process, but I don't know if most people know the exact steps to take, and I would definitely put an asterisk next to, or maybe an exclamation point next to, making sure your gun is unloaded.
Absolutely, yeah. That thing you should do anytime you do anything with your gun, that's the first thing you should do before anything else, no doubt.
I started the show off talking about someone pointed out to me that I'm starting to have some gray hair in my head, and I sort of went on a little tangent, and that's why our interview had to be cut so short today about why it is I'm going gray and why I think more people should be going gray, and just the various things that are going on in our world at this present time. And I just wanted to ask Chris West, while you have you on, is there anything you see that is making you gray in this world?
Oh man, I could do 5 or 6 shows easy about a subject like that. Yeah, there's things that make me go gray, that's for sure. It could be, I don't know, the general stupidity of people you see walking around Walmart to, the people in Congress and the Senate. I mean, you pick it, and I can probably gripe about it. I can guarantee it.
I hear you, man. There is so much. It was just a funny realization to me. I was going over the thought in my head, and I was saying, man, I can't believe I'm getting gray hair so young. Yeah. And then I started to think about it and say, I should probably already be bald, really, at the rate that these things are going down. But have you had a chance to listen to Steven from Alerts USA come on at all?
Oh yeah, I have. I listened to your show you had recently, and man, that guy really knows some stuff. That's amazing, and his product there sounds like a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, he knows everything, man. And this is for the listeners too. I have you guys. If you guys ever want to delve into any topic, man, any kind of world event, any kind of war game, any kind of tension between nations, I mean, this guy he knows a lot. So, and that goes to you too, Chris. If you ever have anything on your mind or have a conspiracy theory you're thinking might be the real deal, he knows it, and he'll be on every other week. So
That's great.
It's going to be nice to have him on.
Absolutely. I'll have to think about some things and throw some ideas your way then.
Yeah, man. If you got questions, he's got answers. That's for sure.
Sure.
But so I guess we'll call it a night tonight, Chris. I appreciate you coming on once again.
Yeah, sure thing, man. I appreciate you having me.
And guys, Chris, this is the same Chris that drew up the characters for Our World, which I got posted up today. I haven't posted up a new episode yet. I'm kind of slacking on that end right now. I'm kind of resting on my laurels now that I have this cool artwork. But so we'll get a new shot up of that. I think we're going to be on episode 20 now already, which is kind of amazing. But I'm starting work on, which you'll probably be interested in, Chris, is with one of my buddies from back in Philly. We started working on sort of a comic/graphic novel dealing with the same sort of premise. So we're going to see how that goes. Them guys are really busy, so I don't know how much of that we'll get to work on. That might be more of a future project, but something to look forward to.
Very nice. That'll be a really cool project, I think.
Also, something else cool from Alerts USA. We actually have 5 nuclear preparedness packages that are going to be given away on the prepperpodcast.com. This was something that Steven offered to us. Let me see if I can bring up exactly what's in these guys. Actually, I might be able to do it off of memory. So basically, he'll have a landing page on there, and Chris, you're more than welcome to go on there. I don't know what I can't enter it, so I don't know the details right now off the top of my head. But there'll be a link there on the prepperpodcast.com, and I'm sure you probably just enter your email or something goofy like that. And basically, you get a nuke alert. Is that what it's called? The little keychain divvy that gives you a heads up beep if nuke levels reach a certain level. Kit comes with one of those, which is basically like a $160 item. I don't know if you know. It's a pretty pricey item.
Wow.
Pack of the potassium iodide tablets comes in it, and those little peel and stick nuclear alert stickers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, but basically, in the event that something happens, say a power plant went haywire, or the worst case scenario, a bomb actually went off in your area, you could take the sticker, stick it on your clothing, or my thought was always to stick it on the outside of your door, or wherever you're at, and you could take a peek at it every so often and see. I guess it's color coded, and it gives you an idea of where you're at on that radioactive isotope level. So a lot of cool stuff. I mean, the kit total probably is at least a $250 value, I would imagine. That's just me shot in the dark in it, but great deal. No point in not trying to go and get it. But I think that's it. That's all I'm pushing this time around. We do have the tablet being given away for the Christmas giveaway, which is also pretty cool. But we'll be back next. Oh, you know what? We might not be back next week. I think next week will be Christmas. How this show's going to fall. So I think the following week will be Christmas. We'll be doing reruns all week on Christmas, and I apologize for that. But we'll see you guys, I guess, in the new year, maybe. But this is James Walton with I Am Liberty. Chris, thanks so much for having me, or coming on the show, rather. And
hey, thanks for having me, James.
No doubt about it. And so we'll be back in a couple weeks. No doubt. See you later, guys. This is I Am Liberty.
Are you sick and tired of having your First Amendment harassed or censored on Facebook? Use no more, as we now have a new alternative to Facebook. It's called Awareness Act. Awareness Act is a social network designed for patriots, to be used by patriots, and is ran by patriots. Stand up and help in the fight to protect your constitutional rights. Patriots can create pages, blogs, videos, documents, articles, and so much more. We even have a unique news feed system that allows you to share, read, or connect with any patriot on Awareness Act. We are a dedicated tool for patriots to use against the tyranny our Constitution is facing. So if you're tired of having your rights infringed upon, come check us out at www.awarenessact.com. Again, that is www.awarenessact.com, the social network for patriots, not potatoes.
Whether you take me for the fool, I know that I can be. Whether you see me eye to eye.
The new Be Prepared for Christmas package from Sun Ovens contains everything you need to harness the power of the sun for cooking, water, and dehydrating. The perfect gift for the preppers or outdoor enthusiast on your shopping list. A sun oven uses the sun's power to bake, boil, or steam food, heat water for purification or personal hygiene, or solar dehydrate. When you use the sun's power on sunny days, you preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods retain moisture, have less shrinkage, and do not burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. The new Be Prepared for Christmas package lets you roast an 18-pound turkey. For the past 26 years, Sun Ovens has been proudly made in the U.S., are durable, and have a long life and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't be fooled by cheap imitations. For a discount coupon, visit sunoven.com/podcast. That's sunoven.com/podcast.
This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA to parts unknown.